Before he even lays a finger on you, pause. Because when you pause first, it stops being just touch. It becomes obsession, desire, fire. A woman who knows how to stir a man emotionally before anything physical begins is the kind of woman who drives him absolutely wild, in the best way. Most women believe it's about what happens after he touches you, but the truth is, what you do before sets the whole tone. The build-up, the energy, the mystery, it all begins long before skin touches skin. If you want to fire up his mind before he even gets close, there are certain things that flip a switch inside him. When a woman walks into a space and carries herself with real presence, everything shifts. The air feels different. Time seems to slow down, not because she's loud or trying to be noticed, but because she's deeply settled in who she is. There's a kind of power that doesn't need to make noise or compete. It just is. And when that power comes from self-awareness and grounded energy, it becomes magnetic. A man feels it before he understands it. His body senses something unique. His instincts wake up. He may not know what's going on, but he knows something special just entered the room. Presence isn't about appearance. It's about what you give off. It's the energy of a woman who doesn't need to prove anything to be seen. She doesn't seek approval because she already knows her worth, even when no one's looking. Her presence tells a story without saying a word. She's not in a rush, not faking anything. She's fully here, relaxed yet strong. Her shoulders are up, her breath is calm. She notices everything around her, but doesn't get lost in it. She doesn't fill silence with nervous chatter, she lives in it. She's not waiting for someone to tell her she's enough, she already knows she is. That kind of presence makes her a mystery, and mystery sparks interest. A man doesn't just see her, he starts to wonder about her. Who is she? Why does she seem different from every other woman in the room? He may not even realize what's pulling him in. It's not just her looks, her outfit, or her smile. It's the invisible energy around her. She's not chasing attention, she's quietly commanding it. Not with arrogance, but with authenticity. She's not stuck comparing herself to others or trying to fit a role. She's centered. And that calm strength makes a man feel both drawn in and challenged, like he's been handed a riddle he wants to solve, but knows he can't just walk through. What's wild is how rare this really is. So many women have been taught they have to be louder, sexier, more entertaining to get noticed. They're trained to constantly market themselves like products, not people. And in doing that, they lose touch with their real center. But the woman who returns to stillness, who shows depth without shouting, stands out. She doesn't throw her heart on the table. She sits quietly, holding the pen, inviting the world to earn her story. And when a man meets her, it doesn't feel like he's just meeting a woman. It feels like he's standing before something meaningful. Presence is a sign of inner trust. A woman who trusts herself doesn't need to grab attention or talk over others. She listens, she watches, she speaks with care, and only when it matters. She's not scared of silence because she knows real connection often grows in those quiet moments. A man in her presence starts to feel more. He becomes alert. Not from pressure, but from a deep sense of anticipation. He senses she can't be fooled or rushed, and something inside him honors that. And this is what makes her presence so powerful, especially before touch. It builds a sense of longing. It sets a tone where the man stops thinking about quick pleasure. He's no longer reacting to just her body. He's drawn into her atmosphere, and the desire born from presence goes deeper. It lasts longer. It's stronger than the shallow kind of attraction that comes from just looks or performance. Because when a man is drawn in by a woman's energy, everything else, her scent, her gestures, her words, become even more powerful. Her presence lays a base of respect. It turns a simple touch into something sacred. And you don't need a certain figure, age, or status to build this. Presence is something you practice. It starts with awareness, how you carry yourself, how you breathe, how you think when no one's around. It grows stronger when you stop giving your power away to people's opinions. It becomes magnetic when you understand that you don't need to perform to be enough. The women who leave the deepest marks aren't the loudest, they're not the most dressed up, they're the ones who are fully themselves. And when they show up without apology, when they move like their energy matters, it triggers something deep in a man. That kind of woman stays in his mind long after the moment is gone. Her energy lingers in a room even after she's left. And when a man finally touches her, if she lets him, it won't feel like a prize. It'll feel like he's been welcomed into something rare. That welcome, built through presence, is what sent him over the edge. Not because he won her, but because he earned his place in her world. There's an ancient language that speaks before words. It's more powerful than touch and leaves a deeper memory than anything physical. It's the language of the eyes. When a woman learns to speak through her gaze before her body does, she stirs a part of a man that's both emotional and instinctual. Because the truth is, your eyes meet his long before your skin ever does. And what they say in that quiet moment can spark a desire that words could never reach. Eyes are not just for watching, they hold power. They can attract, soften, challenge, or tease, sometimes all at once. A woman who understands this, who looks at a man with presence, intention, and emotion, becomes unforgettable. Not because she's trying hard, but because her eyes say what his heart has longed to hear. They say, "I see you," not just your face or your charm, but your inner self. And that kind of gaze unlocks something in a man he didn't even know was closed. Most people go through life with distracted eyes. Their gaze flickers, hides, avoids. But when a woman holds a man's eyes, without flinching, hurrying, or apologizing, she shows strength not in a cold way, but in quiet, feminine power. She's not trying to prove anything or demand attention. She's simply allowing herself to be seen, and in doing that, she sees him. This shared look creates a silent bond, a thread that connects them, a thread he'll still feel tugging at him later. There's the look that says, "I notice you," but deeper than that is the look that says, "I see the real you, and I'm not scared of it." That second kind of gaze cracks something open in a man, because men are often only seen for their status or what they can give. Rarely are they seen with wonder, with warmth, with honest curiosity. A woman who sees beyond his surface into the parts he hides doesn't just turn him on, she moves him. She gives his masculine self a place to relax, to come closer, to feel real connection. But this gaze has to be real. You can't fake it. It's not about trying to stare someone down or seduce with your eyes. It's about inviting him in, because you know your own value. When your eyes carry respect for yourself, emotional depth, and a hint of mystery, they send a strong message. You may touch me, but only if you understand me first. And that kind of invitation, it doesn't just spark desire. It calls his soul upward. It makes him want to match the level of your gaze, not just reach for your body. This is why the most sensual moments usually begin in silence. Think about the tension of a long-held stare, the thick air just before the first touch, the quiet conversation your eyes have before a word is spoken. That's where true intimacy lives. At that point, the physical part is no longer about need, it's about something earned. He's not taking anything from you. He feels like he's being welcomed into something meaningful. And the best part? You don't need to say a thing. You don't need revealing clothes. You don't need to act. Just the willingness to be fully present with him without fear or distraction makes your gaze a mirror. If you're grounded, he feels it. If you're anxious, he senses that too. But if you're clear, open and curious, he'll be drawn to you. Your eyes offer a glimpse into your soul. And when a man gets even a taste of that, he'll crave the rest in a way that surface attraction never could. Let your eyes lead before your hands do. Not because touch doesn't matter, but because when he's already lost in your gaze, your touch becomes the reward to a story he's already been pulled into. He's not just wanting your body, he's longing for the connection your eyes promised. And once that promise is fulfilled, he's yours. Not because you demanded it, but because he felt you before he ever laid a hand on you. She awakens the wild side in a man, not through loud signs, but through quiet signals. She doesn't chase his attention, she lets it come to her naturally. Imagine how your fingers play with a necklace while you're lost in thought, how your breath slows when you're really focused, how your hand softly brushes his arm as you walk past, not to tempt, but to ground him. These are all small movements. And when those movements are slow, calm, and natural, they say one thing: I'm in charge of this moment. A woman who moves this way becomes magnetic. She's not reacting, she's leading. And the man around her starts to react in ways he can't even explain. His breathing shifts, his heartbeat changes, his focus sharpens. Not because of anything loud or obvious, but because of the feeling she creates that touches something deep in his instincts. Now add scent to this and you've created something powerful. He hears your quiet, he feels your calm, he smells something he can't explain but needs more of. Without knowing why, he leans in, he wants to be close, he wants to touch. But more than anything, he wants to stay. Because it's not just you he's drawn to, it's the space you've shaped around you. You fill the air with grace and richness, and just being near you feels like a gift. A gift to be in your energy, in your presence, in your scent. A woman who knows her power doesn't need to prove anything. She becomes the moment itself. A man doesn't just notice her, he feels her, like the weather changes or the air thickens. And when he finally reaches out, that first touch is full of everything that's built up in the silence. It's not just a touch, it's a release. If you want to make a man crave you before he even lays a finger on you, stop trying to show off. Instead, shape the moment. Let your scent speak without words. Let your movements remind him what softness and control feel like. Let your presence slowly pull his guard down. When you do that, you're not just someone he wants to touch. You become the feeling his body longs to return to, even after you're gone. People often mistake loudness for strength. They think being heard means shouting, being expressive means being loud, and getting attention means taking up space. But a woman who understands the real power in her voice, soft but deep, can move a man more than any scream ever could. What stays in a man's memory isn't the noise, it's the meaning. A gentle voice that comes from a place of presence can bring stillness to a man's busy world. And stillness, that's the new kind of attraction. A woman who speaks with meaning doesn't talk too much. She doesn't fill up the space just to avoid quiet. She speaks from a place that's calm and honest. Because she's not trying to get approval, her words feel heavier, more real. A man doesn't just hear her, he feels her. Her tone is slow and steady. Her pauses matter. Her quiet isn't awkward, it's alive. She's not proving anything, she's just speaking, and that draws people in. In this space, a man feels something unusual. He's used to women yelling, flirting, trying to impress with jokes or over-the-top charm. But when a woman lowers her voice, not because she's scared, but because she's in control, he listens. Not because he can't hear her, but because she's worth hearing. Her voice is like soft fabric over strength, gentle but firm. And through that tone, she gives him something rare: depth, emotion, mystery. Not confusing mystery, but the kind that makes him curious, the kind that makes him want to stay close and understand her. She doesn't talk to show off. She speaks to connect. She might say just a little, but every word means something. She doesn't over-talk or overshare. She simply reaches something deep in a man. The man who hears her talk like that doesn't just feel excited. He feels understood, because she's not trying to entertain, she's giving truth. Her words don't try to control or impress. They don't ask for attention. They simply exist. And that kind of presence is hard to explain, but impossible to ignore. A woman who speaks from that deep place doesn't just fill the air. She fills the moment. She reacts less, responds more. She listens, not just waits to talk. And when she speaks, it's like she looks through the mask a man wears and speaks to the part of him he hides. She might ask one question, simple but surprising, and suddenly he feels open. Not judged, not picked apart, just safe to be real. She becomes the place where he can finally drop the act. And when that happens, his guard goes down. His fake confidence fades. And what comes out is something rare, his true self. That kind of change doesn't come from loudness. It comes from tone, meaning, and a woman's choice to speak from her soul, not from ego. And here's the thing most women don't realize. When your voice holds honesty, self-respect, and calm strength, your words become something deeper. Even if you just say, "Tell me what you're thinking," it feels different. Not like a demand, but like a doorway into truth. That kind of feminine speech doesn't just turn him on. It earns his respect. And that respect, that's the foundation of real connection. So next time you're with a man and you feel like you want to be heard, don't talk louder, talk slower. Don't rush, take your time. Don't talk to impress, talk to move him. Let your voice say what your body doesn't need to. Let your pauses show that silence isn't empty, it's powerful. Let him feel your words in his chest. And most importantly, say what you truly mean. Because a woman who speaks with heart, not noise, stays in a man's mind. He remembers her not because she was loud, but because she was real, because her words were hers, because she opened something in him that no one else even noticed. In a world that's always rushing, where everything is about what's next and what's faster, the boldest, most attractive thing a woman can do is slow down, not just in how she moves or speaks, but in how she shapes the moment. Because when she controls the pace, she controls the feeling. And when she controls the feeling, she shapes how a man reacts, what he feels, and how long that feeling stays with him. Fast energy kills presence. When you rush, you skip over the good stuff. You miss the small, rich moments. You lose the chance to build tension. But when you slow everything down, when you stretch a glance, when you let quiet moments breathe, when you resist the urge to fill every second, you create space. Space for emotion, for mystery, for connection. And that mystery, that's what makes a man crave you. Not because you gave him everything right away, but because you made him wait. Because you let the wanting grow. Slowness says, this is not rushed. This is chosen. Tells him you're not trying to catch his attention. You're letting him earn your presence. You're not quick to give yourself away. You're a woman of timing, rhythm, and depth. And that changes him. It breaks his habit of always getting things fast and makes him feel something deeper. He's not just looking at your body, he's in tune with your vibe, your energy. Think about the way you look at him. The pause before you answer, the softness in your breath, the calm in your hands. You're not chasing, you're leading, gently, strongly. And the slower you move, the more he notices. Every glance feels more powerful. Every moment feels fuller. The space between you is filled with meaning, not because of what's happening, but because of what's not. You're creating emotional suspense, and it drives him wild. Now imagine this before things get physical. A woman who rushes loses the magic. But the one who waits, who looks into his eyes before getting closer, who takes her time to breathe before kissing, she builds something electric, not because she's playing games, but because she respects the power of the moment. That space between feeling and action, that's sacred. That's where true desire grows. When you slow down, you're not holding back. You're building up. You're showing him that every move matters. Every look, every word, every breath is part of something important. And you're asking him to feel that with you. You're teaching him not with words, but with presence, to enjoy each part of the journey, to slow down, to connect. And when a man does that, he doesn't just want you, he remembers you. Because you changed how he feels time. You gave meaning to every second. Even when we're just talking, pacing matters. The way you pause, the way you smile, the way you really listen. These all show maturity. You're not in a hurry because you're already full inside. That fullness, that calm, it relaxes him. It wakes up something in him. It makes him respect you, not just want you. Because you've shown him you're not here to act, you're here to feel. And if he wants to be part of that, he'll have to feel it too. There's something unforgettable about a woman who moves through life like a song played slowly. She enters a room and the vibe shifts. She speaks and people truly listen. She touches and the feeling stays. She has emotional gravity. Everything is drawn toward her. So if you want to stir something deep in a man, don't speed up, slow down. In your breath, in your voice, in how you receive. Because when you slow the moment, you add depth. And depth is where desire lives, where connection forms, where a man realizes he's not just with a woman, he's with something rare, something that can't be rushed, can't be owned, and can't be replaced. There's a rare kind of woman who isn't afraid to be truly seen, not just admired, not just liked, but deeply seen. She doesn't hide her strength to keep a man comfortable. She doesn't turn herself down just to seem small. But she also doesn't put up walls to protect herself. She lets herself be soft, open and honest. And when a woman stands in both her strength and her softness, that's when she becomes unforgettable.